has been a really weird week for video games because last week you and I got on this show and we counted down some of the biggest and best-looking video game movies of 2016.
Yeah, and there'd been some duds like Angry Birds and Ratchet and Clank, but we were very hopeful for Warcraft. I think we made the proclamation that Warcraft was going to be the one that finally turned the tide.
We said it'd be the best video game movie of the year. That was 7 days ago.
Yeah.
To the moment.
To the minute, actually, yeah.
We screwed up.
Yeah, we goofed.
We goofed. That movie is not being treated well by critics. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So the Warcraft movie is out very soon. Critics are seeing it early. No one really likes it so far. It doesn't have a ton of positive.
It's such a bummer.
Can you pull out the let's take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes real quick. I don't think it's good.
I think it's like a 35, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
And dropping?
And dropping, yeah.
So now take a look at this movie. It's gorgeous, right? Everything about this kind of seemed like they were going to get it right. I love the special effects. ILM did pretty much everything for this movie.
Well, and it's Duncan Jones who directed Source Code and Moon, both of which are awesome.
Yep. So Warcraft is at a 33% right now, not looking good.
That's a passing grade in school.
Yeah, people have always equated like school grades. No, it's not.
Also
by
absolutely
the way.
not a passing grade. In Wisconsin, it was.
Yeah, in Wisconsin it was. Really?
No.
That's tough. All right, so let's take a look at some of the critical reception that Warcraft's gotten so far. Start with this. Time Out. It says, like its 10-foot anti-heroes, Warcraft is noisy, lumbering, and not terribly bright.
That's just a mean sentence.
I know, it is a mean sentence.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, these are pull quotes, so maybe it'll get better. Yeah. While there's something admirable in Jones's steadfast adherence to naff fantasy tropes, it makes no concession to fans of realism. Daily Telegraph UK. Okay, so benefit of the doubt on that one. How much realism do you really want in a movie where like your orcs are fighting people?
Yeah, very very little.
There's pandas, I hope.
This movie probably doesn't have pandas.
You don't think so?
The sequel's probably going to have pandas.
Yeah, well, if it gets one.
Oh.
Warcraft provides thunderous spectacle, but when performing the alchemy of transforming genre archetypes into characters with soul, the magic fizzles out.
All right, you don't got to use the word alchemy.
Yeah, right? That guy went hard.
That's what sorcerers do.
He went hard in the paint on that one. And at the I think his sentence fizzled out. But yeah, it seems like, like it's trying to bring everything together, and it couldn't. So, this production may be titled The Beginning, but on this showing, it would be a spectacular surprise if we ever saw the middle or the end.
Oh, heyyouguys.com.
Yeah, that's a Sloth's website. Hey, you guys! That sucks. If this movie even has a cliffhanger in it, which I assume it does, and then it doesn't actually get greenlit sequels, that's a problem.
There's probably an actual man who's hanging on a cliff.
You think so?
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Cliffhanger?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. John Lithgow was a bad guy in it.
I think that might have a higher Rotten Tomatoes than this movie right now. Not a good movie either.
No.
Director Duncan Jones, a self-professed Warcraft fan, has clearly put a lot of love and care into fleshing out a story, but it's questionable whether it was ever really merited. Guardian. I don't really know how to take that one. Like, merited? What do you take of that word at the end of that? I
mean, I think one of the weird things is I'm sure a lot of these critics are reviewing it outside the lens of having played WoW or the original 3 Warcrafts or the expansions. And I'm not saying, like, obviously once you go into a different medium, like you aren't expected to have to come in with all that baggage. But at the same time, I'm curious when, like a bunch of us see the movie and have experiences with Warcraft, like what we're going to think of it.
Well, we've had an interesting year of stuff like that too. Like, for example, Batman vs. Superman didn't play well to critics, but a lot of like hardcore Batman fans and Superman fans, DC fans in general, said this is a movie for us. We really like it. That didn't necessarily pan out in the box office. It did really well. It made its money back, but it didn't knock it out the park. X-Men Apocalypse, same sort of deal, where they're like, this is a little inside baseball. This is for X-Men fans. There was no baseball in that movie. I would love to see that, though.
You don't know that.
And this might be the same thing. I actually saw a quote from somebody in the Podcast Beyond Facebook group the other day that said, I've been playing this game for 10 years, and I've been paying $15 a month the entire time. Yes, I will absolutely pay $10 to see this movie and spend 2 hours with it. So, see how you feel yourself.
On Twitch, Esayer says, I'm going to get drunk and watch the orcs. This is going to be great.
Seriously, there are worse afternoons than that. Unconvincing and generic with nothing to compare it to either the dramatic heft of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy or the raunch and gore of Game of Thrones. That's from Screen International.
I guess it's kind of raunchy.
So actually, I kind of like, this guy came in with this like, what's the sort of like hard-ish fantasy approach here? And where does this sit between those two worlds? And apparently not. it doesn't succeed in the same way those things do either.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is, I think the reason Game of Thrones works with such a mass audience is because ultimately it doesn't really matter that it's a fantasy show. It's a show about characters.
Right.
It's a political drama, and the fantasy part of it's almost just like a subgenre.
I agree.
Whereas something like Warcraft seems like it's going real hard in the fantasy, and so maybe it's sort of just directed towards a much smaller audience, a much more focused audience.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Imagine Battlefield Earth without the verb or the unintentional comedy.
Yikes. That's not good.
That's one of the harshest things you could possibly say about a movie. Battlefield Earth is world renowned as one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah. All of Earth. And L. Ron Hubbard wrote that one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
And one more, the final product brings to mind those animated advertisements for iPhone app games variety. Actually, I lied. That is the worst thing you can say about a movie in 2016.
Yeah.
Anything that evokes
War of War commercials.
Kate Upton running through a Photoshop field while attacking CG RTS characters that you can pay $4.99 each for is bad.
Yikes.
So again, more reviews will continue to roll in. We'll check back on this film very soon. I'd still want to see it.
I'm still going to see it.
I'm still going to see it. I'll see Angry Birds. I'll see Ratchet and Clank.
Don't see Ratchet.
Don't really?
You don't have to. You're fine.
Okay. And well, Assassin's Creed. Everything's up to
That'll
you, baby.
Hey, we're making that guarantee. 6 months from now, that'll be the best one.
We can't do that anymore. We're not qualified to do that.
Zach, make sure you clip this out so that 6 months from now we can go back to this clip and show how wrong we are.
Hashtag Brian and Marty were wrong.